The hour is 7 p.m. Having arrived, I will call to order this regular meeting of Keene City Council. This meeting is being broadcast live on the City of Keene YouTube channel. Video is also streamed on the city's website and is posted to the city website by the next business day, barring any technical difficulties. If you'd like to receive an electronic copy of the City Council packet to reference during future broadcasts, please contact the City Clerk's office during regular business hours or go to the city's website and subscribe to the City Meetings email list. The agenda is also accessible from any mobile device. I'd ask that the clerk please call the roll.
Brian J. Lake.
Here.
Michael J. Remy.
Here.
Gladys Johnson.
Here.
Michael Giacomo.
Here.
Randy L. Filio.
Here.
Robert C. Williams.
Here.
Philip M. Jones.
Here.
Andrew M. Madison.
Here.
Chrissy Roberts.
Here.
Raleigh C. Omerod.
Here.
Bettina H. Chadbourne. Catherine I. Workman.
Here.
Mitchell H. Greenwald. Kate M. Bosley.
Here.
Thomas F. Powers.
Here.
Thank you. And I neglected to wish everybody a happy new year. Hopefully you had a good holiday. And Councilor Chadbourne, would you please lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Which brings us to a motion on our minutes of our previous meeting. Councilor Powers for a motion, Councilor Bosley for a second, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. I move to accept the minutes from the November 3rd, 2022 regular meeting as printed.
We
Second.
have a motion from Councilor Powers, seconded by Councilor Bosley. Any discussion on the minutes? Councilor Bosley?
I believe Councilor Powers used the wrong date.
I'm sorry, Counselor.
Good
I'll
catch.
stand corrected. I follow directions.
Yes, you do, very well.
December 15th.
Thank you.
All right.
Second.
Thank you for the catch. Any further discussion? Seeing none, are you ready for a vote? All those in favor? Opposed? That is unanimous. So just, I think one announcement. We've got the Right to Know workshop, which will be coming up on Tuesday, January 10th at 6 p.m. It'll be here in council chambers. This is Attorney Stephen Buckley from the New Hampshire Municipal Association will be here to do the presentation. It's a good refresher for those of us who have been around, and hopefully we can get good attendance to that. An invitation's also been extended to the city staff who are involved in the Right to Know request. So we'll all learn a little bit more about that. Please do attend. Which brings us to confirmations. Number one.
This evening, we will be confirming the mayor's sort of first run of all the nominations, and this list is primarily those members who are eligible for second terms. And so we start off with the Airport Development and Marketing Committee, Peter Temple with a term to expire December 31, 2025, and Luca Paris, again with the same term to expire December 31, 2025. Nathan Jacobs is having his term extended to December 31, 2024 to really re-stagger the term, so an equal number of members' terms expire every year. To the Ashwillet River Park Advisory Board, Russell Zulo, term to expire December 31, 2025, as well as Susan Krautman, again, December 31, 2025. Thomas Haynes, who has been serving as an alternate, is also being renominated, again, the December 31, 2025 date. To the Assessors Board, John Newcomb, December 31, 2025. To the Bicycle Pedestrian Path Advisory Board, Charles Redfern, he's been serving as an alternate, December 31, 2025. To the Conservation Commission, 2 regular members up for second terms, Arthur Walker, Andrew Madison, both with December 31, 2025. To the Energy and Climate Committee, Claire Ausler, again, the December 31, 2025 date. To Historic District Commission, again, 2 members, Sofia Cuna Vasconcelos, she's a regular member. Again, she's being renominated with a term to expire December 31, 2025. Peter Panessa has been serving as an alternate, up for another term, December 31, 2025. To the Human Rights Committee, Catherine Workman, again, December 31, 2025. And Sofia Cuna Vasconcelos serves on this committee as well, December 31, 2025. a corrected term on the Keene Housing Authority. I always forget that this group has a 5-year term. So Christopher Coates gets a few more years. So he's being renominated December 31, 2027. And Stephen Bianco, we had an error in his term quite a few years ago, noticed it this time, and so his term is actually being shortened, December 31, 2026. To the Partner City Committee, Councilor Giacomo, December 31, 2023. John Mitchell, renomination, as well as Greg Kleiner and Will Schaffman, again, all with December 31, 2025. To the Planning Board, 2 regular members going for second terms, David Orgaz and Armando Rangel, December 31, 2025. Trustees of Trust Funds, Marilyn Gemmel, December 31, 2025.
Okay, so I would accept a motion from Counselor Powers and a second by Counselor Bosley, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. I move to confirm the nominations.
Second.
We have a motion from Counselor Powers, second by Counselor Bosley. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, this does require a roll call vote. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Counselor Lake?
Yes.
Counselor Remy?
Yes.
Counselor Johnson?
Yes.
Counselor Giacomo?
Yes.
Counselor Filio?
Yes.
Counselor Williams?
Yes.
Counselor Jones?
Yes.
Counselor Madison?
Yes.
Counselor Roberts?
Yes.
Counselor Ormerod?
Yes.
Counselor Chadbourne?
Yes.
Counselor Workman?
Yes.
Counselor Greenwald?
Yes.
Counselor Bosley?
Yes.
Counselor Powers?
Yes.
And that is unanimous, which brings us to nominations, number 2.
This is a continuation of those members who are eligible for second terms. To the Bicycle Pedestrian Path Advisory Committee, Roland Russell, December 31, 2025, Jan Manwaring, December 31, 2024, and Michael DeVerne, December 31, 2025. Though your document doesn't reflect it, Chris Brem, he's been serving as an alternate, and it would be December 31, 2025.
And these will be tabled to the next regular meeting, number
Well,
3.
got actually a few more. I
Oh.
paused too much.
Oh, okay.
To the Heritage Commission, Marilyn Houston and Louise Zerba. Louise has been serving as an alternate to the Heritage Commission for many years, both the terms to expire December 31, 2025. And to the Building Board of Appeals and the Housing Standards Board of Appeals, Malcolm Katz and Stephen Walsh, both with the December 31, 2025. And to the Conservation Commission, Stephen Bill, he's been a long-term alternate on the Conservation Commission, now moving up to a regular member, December 31, 2025.
Good.
Yeah.
We'll refer those to our next regular meeting, number 3. Some more nominations.
Now, these are some folks that are just joining our boards and commissions. So to the trustees of trust funds and cemetery trustees, actually, I need to clarify, Michelle Howard, she's been a long-term trustee, stepped away because she had maxed out on her terms and is coming back to serve again. Michelle Howard again, December 31, 2025. And new to the Building Board of Appeals, Housing Standard Board of Appeals, Corinne Parks, December 31, 2025.
And those will also be tabled to the next regular meeting, which brings us to city officer and department reports, number 1.
This is a memorandum on behalf of the library director. And a memorandum from the library director relative to a research grant. This is a time-sensitive issue, and we're looking to suspend the rules to allow action on this grant application.
Council Powers for a motion to suspend the rules, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. I move to suspend Section 26 of the Rules of Order to allow action upon this time-sensitive grant.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilor Powers, seconded by Councilor Bosley. Any discussion on suspending the rules? Seeing none, this requires a roll call vote. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Counselor Lake?
Yes.
Counselor Remy?
Yes.
Counselor Johnson?
Yes.
Counselor Giacomo?
Yes.
Counselor Filio?
Yes.
Counselor Williams?
Yes.
Counselor Jones?
Yes.
Counselor Madison?
Yes.
Counselor Roberts?
Yes.
Counselor Ormerod?
Yes.
Counselor Chadbourne?
Yes.
Counselor Workman?
Yes.
Counselor Greenwald?
Yes.
Counselor Bosley?
Yes.
Counselor Powers?
Yes.
And that's unanimous. So with the rules suspended, I'm looking for a motion from Councilor Powers, second by Councilor Remy, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. I move to authorize the city manager to do all things necessary to accept and expend a grant of up to $2,245 from Twin Cities Public Television in support of staff education and library programs at the Keene Public Library.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilor Powers, second by Councilor Remy. Councilor Powers?
Thank you, Your Honor. As indicated by the city clerk, that's time sensitive that we get this accomplished, and of course, we've been off for a couple of weeks through the holiday season. You have the memo either on your computer or a hard copy that's very self-explanatory. It's a great, quick perusal. It's a great program. It's a good opportunity for us to team up with other folks and provide some excellent education and experience for students over at the library. And I recommend that we authorize the manager to carry this out. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, are you ready for a vote? All those in favor? Opposed? That is unanimous. And my apologies for taking some items out of order, but city manager comments.
Just a few comments for you tonight. The legislative meeting that we had scheduled with NHMA is being rescheduled. We were contacted by several members of the legislative delegation concerned that they would not be able to attend our original date because of conflicting responsibilities in Concord on that day. So we decided to reschedule, and we are working to find a new date, and as soon as we find one, we will be sure to share that with you. Councilor Workman actually asked me to provide a homeless update, and so as of today, the city of Keene has 9 rooms with homeless families, hotel rooms with homeless families, and 1 individual at a local hotel. SES has 3 beds at the men's shelter and 1 bunk available at the family shelter. There are currently 19 verified residents at SCS shelter, Keene verified residents, and 100 Nights has 17 Keene residents out of the 35 beds that they have available. 3 beds are being held exclusively for the doorway, all of which are empty. There's also space on the 100 Nights bus for individuals looking to get out of the weather. So if you are contacted by someone in need of shelter, please send them to the city's Human Services Department for placement. There is availability.
Thank you.
Yeah. Along those lines, Natalie Darcy, the Human Services Director, and I had a great meeting with the hospital, Southwestern Community Services, and Service Link today. We are discussing ways to create a stronger no wrong door model for our region. This was one of the recommendations in the Mayor's Housing Stability Report. Today was our first meeting, and we are hoping to bring more partners to the table at the next meeting. The goal is to create a more unified support service model with all of our partner agencies. I'll keep you updated on that. And then today, you should have received via email and on your desk a document that we created to answer some of the frequently asked questions that we are aware of related to the downtown infrastructure project. From the original email, there were just a couple of amendments and upgraded photo that was added and resent to you this evening, but you have a copy of that also on your desk. This was first sent to you, but then circulated widely in different formats on different platforms. It went out on social media today. And we are encouraging people interested in weighing in to visit the project website for more information and opportunities to weigh in. Upcoming, we have council presentations and updates at the city council meeting from the county. They're planning to attend our meeting on the 19th to give an update on the ambulance service. And then tonight, the Chamber of Commerce was originally scheduled to do a presentation on their branding effort and asked to reschedule for February. So they are planning to come in the second cycle in February. That's all.
All right, thank you. So for item F2, we're going to table it until the end of the meeting, as we have an adjournment to deal with that. And that'll bring us to the acceptance of a donation. City manager, we have a donation, I understand.
Yeah. If I can grab it, thank you. I'm out of order. So we have a donation this evening of $2,883 from the trustees of the Keene Public Library. And the trustees throughout the year often provide donations either in cash or in purchasing of servicing goods for the library, and they are donating this money to replace a piece of children's furniture, and that was not paid for as part of the IMLS Little Makers Grant. So that's a large grant that we had at the library that had been going on for a couple of years. And there's a piece of furniture that was not included as part of this grant that they are donating the funds to pay for.
Counselor Powers for a motion, please. Counselor Remy for a second.
Thank you, Your Honor. I move to carry out the intent of the committee report.
Second. We have a motion from Counselor Powers, seconded by Counselor Remy. Any discussion on the donation? Seeing none, are you ready for a vote? All those in favor? Opposed? That's unanimous, and I want to thank the Library Board of Trustees for once again coming through and filling in that gap to make our library that much better. So thank you very much. Which brings us to Board and Commission reports, number 1.
This is a report from the Ad hoc Downtown Infrastructure Improvement and Reconstruction Project Steering Committee. It is recommending that their recommendations be forwarded to the City Council as a quasi-committee of the whole for their consideration.
Yeah, so obviously this has a lot of public interest. It's a somewhat, it's a big deal, big decision for you all, and a lot of community interest. And so the way we're planning to do this is refer the work from the ad hoc committee to this quasi-committee of the whole, make sure that all the counselors are involved in the entire process. This is really your time to hear from the community and hear about all the data that's been collected, the work of the consultants and the ad hoc committee and all that. And so we'll be making that referral. On Monday, January 30th, we're going to have a workshop. I really have to say, please attend. If you can't, then maybe let us know even so we can figure something out. But we want you to be really, really fully engaged in this process, and we're trying to arrange it in a way so that we'll open it up at 5 o'clock and people can come in and look at various aspects of the project, talk one-on-one with the consultants and our Public Works Department and you all, and then we'll have sort of a workshop style thing arranged, so we'll allow people to get engaged and really focus in on the details of the various aspects of the project that they are concerned about. And then following that, we're going to have a second public informational meeting that'll include all the feedback that's generated from that first meeting, along with some presentation of further details. We're going to do that one over at the high school because I think that'll be a big turnout as well, and that'll be a more traditional sort of presentation and then open it up for public comment type of format. The first one I should have mentioned we're going to do over at Heberton Hall, the one on the 30th. So please do take this seriously. I know you all are already. I know you're getting a lot of calls from your constituents and you're working with them and sharing information, but this is going to take all of our attention for a few months here, so please do stay engaged in the process and let's get to a well thought out decision that we can all be proud of. Okay? Yes, Councilor Jones?
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, can you just repeat the date and time for the high school one?
Yep. So the second informational meeting will be Tuesday, February 21st at 6 p.m. at the high school auditorium. Yes, Councilor Greenwald?
Couple of thoughts and comments. In my 30 years on city council, I have never heard this phrase, quasi-committee of the whole. You as the presiding officer, I'm sure it's okay, you can do it, but I just want to say I've never heard it, don't understand it. I'm going to assume that you as the mayor are going to chair this. I don't know anything about the rules of procedure. I think we need to know these things. And I do want to say to the council and the public, we have a committee structure, and there's a reason for it. This matter should have been referred to the MSFI committee. And I would say quite honestly and candidly, as I try to do everything, if I was rabidly in favor of the project and my vice chair was rabidly in favor of it, it would be going to MSFI. But I think there's concerns that we have concerns, and maybe that's going to slow down the project, maybe even derail some of these conclusions. And I'm being honest, but there are unaddressed concerns that we're all hearing from our constituents. And for this reason, I apologize to my committee. You should feel as, I'll be very politically easy, uncomfortable about this decision because, again, this should have been going to our committee to make a recommendation to the council. Missing in this process, the ad hoc committee minutes, to my knowledge, have never been distributed to the council. The MSFI committee has never reviewed these minutes and sent a recommendation to the council. And obviously, the recommendation that came from the ad hoc committee has not been reviewed by a committee, and there's no vote. So I sort of know where we are, but I just am kind of lost in the process. I want to assure the public I'm going to cooperate with the process. Great hearings, public meetings, what have you, a lot of information will be brought about. And now, and you know, maybe the letter that I sent in, I hope you all saw it, I don't know, because I haven't seen the minutes of the ad hoc committee. Maybe that helped to incite some public information on what's going on, because the public is speaking loudly. And my fellow councilors, I urge you to hear and listen to what your constituents are saying. We need to gather information. We need to not vote our own personal bias or self-interest. And bear in mind, very, very strongly, we are the elected officials to run this city. It's not the staff, it's not the mayor, it's us. We need to listen to the public, gather the information, and make this decision. And, you know, kind of bearing in mind, this is going to turn into an election issue because it's going to spill over into the next election. And again, I want to assure staff, the mayor, everyone, I'm not going to be disruptive. I'm going to participate. I'm going to gather all the information. And to me, the wishes of the residents are the most important. This, in my mind, is the most significant issue that has come before this council that has lasting ramifications of all my years on council. So, you know, I'm sure you are going to pay attention to this. And we have this council explanation, phrase, hill to die on. You got my hill. I will die on this hill. I want to see a good decision made, whichever way it goes and however it goes. And it's going to be a compromise between do absolutely nothing and do absolutely everything. So we need to work together to get this together. And, you know, I'm not happy with the process, but I will play the game.
Thanks. Yeah, I just to comment on that, I mean, I think this is a really important decision for the community and certainly the council, and that's one of the reasons we're taking this kind of unusual step. It's because we got to engage the entire council from the beginning. And we're trying to design this process so it allows for the maximum amount of public input possible. It allows you all, the 15 of you, to have as many opportunities as possible to hear from your constituents, hear from these different groups, debate things in a format that's fair to everybody, which is important. And so that's sort of the reason for this unusual proposal for how to go through this decision-making. But I hear what you're saying. It is important. And I'll tell all the counselors what I told you a couple days ago. It's if we get to the end of these two public workshops and you feel like you need, you haven't been given that opportunity to hear from the public, you haven't been given that opportunity to review the information that you need, then come and talk to me, and we'll talk about another way to do it. This is a difficult one, high amount of public interest, and so we're putting together the best process that I think is going to be fair as we can come up with. Councilor Filio?
I want to echo what Councilor Greenwald said. I have no problem with a workshop. It's probably needed, get a lot of the rumors out of the way. But with that said, Councilor Greenwald is absolutely correct, and I've been on this council a long time too, and I have never had an infrastructure project not go through the MSFI committee. The I in MSFI is infrastructure. This will be the biggest infrastructure committee infrastructure do-over probably in the history of the city of Keene. It will be for a long time. To circumvent the process, to circumvent the elected officials of this city is just not acceptable. I mean, I appreciate the fact that you want to chair, the meeting, and we want to, have a process where people get involved, and then go to a vote. That is not acceptable. I have no problem taking public input at 2, 3, 10 workshops. That's fine. But after those workshops are done, it needs to follow the process that we follow and go to the MSFI committee and then go to the full council. And maybe the full council sends it back to MSFI again. I don't know. Once again, the I in MSFI is infrastructure.
I'm
And
sorry.
this is an infrastructure.
I'm sorry, Counselor, I have to disagree. I think this project cuts across all of the committees. There's a financing component to this. There is certainly an infrastructure component. I think that's the foundation of the project. But it also is overlaid with planning. And a lot of the documentation and work that's been done in planning over the last 2 decades are going to have an impact on this project. And the rules allow for this quasi-committee of the whole. It's an option. It's not a well-exercised one. But when we were taking a look at this and considering all of these different ways to keep people engaged and ultimately reach the end goal, which is to provide you with an opportunity to decide and put you in a position to decide after taking as much public input as possible, we said we need to involve the entire council right from the beginning. That's that rationale.
Well, my question is, okay, what's next? We have a committee structure. We've always had. That's why it works. So if the next item comes around and the mayor decides, I don't want to go through committee, so what's next? So do we all of a sudden get away from the committee policy? Then why have committee? Why have rules of order? We'll just wing it as we go. I completely and 100% disagree with you on that.
This isn't winging it, it's within the rules.
This should go through the committee process. It's why we have a process on the city council. And like Councilor Greenwald said, I will die on the hill on this one if we do not follow proper process.
All right. Further comments? Yes, Councilor Workman.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm just going to echo what Councilor Greenwald and Filio have said. Unfortunately, you can disagree, but as a member of council and MSFI, I do feel like you're circumventing the council and the committee process. We have had numerous other projects that have been piecemeal to the other committees as they saw fit. If it was finance related, a portion of that project went to FOP. Portions of it have gone to MSFI, portions have gone to PLD. The process has always worked in the past. I'm happy to attend. The more workshops, the more public input, the better. But it should absolutely come back to MSFI at some point. The council will then have a discussion at the following city council meeting, as we have always done things. Thank you.
Thank you. So bear with me through these 2 workshops. Bear with me through these 2 workshops. Hopefully we can all take a little break after that and we'll all feel better about the position we're in. So regardless of the feelings about any of the other stuff, I know I can count on you all to do that. Yes, Councilor Roberts?
I'm not going to repeat anything that the other 3 councilors had said, but I'm going to talk. You said something that struck me when you said we had a project that overlapped all the committees. To me, when I look at it, if we have an infrastructure possibility of happening, we have to look at it to see if it's viable. And we would have a committee that would think it would be viable. Once we determine, yes, it's viable and in the best interest of the city, then we would go to finance and see how possible that we could fund this. Do we bond it? Do we put a capital improvement? Or how many ways do we go out and see if we can get state or federal money? So once we do that, and finance shows the city council that, yes, we can properly fund it, then we turn it over to planning. So how we can plan everything out over the next couple of years, like, for example, what we're doing with the roundabout down at by Walmart. And so that is all. My arm's not working very good today. It's from the stroke. The cold weather does it. So I'm going to embarrass myself and put my hand in my pocket. To me, that's the way the process goes. To sit here and put everybody together and say yes, then all of a sudden we find out it wasn't a viable project, and we've wasted all the time, assets, valuable stuff. So, first thing, yes, you're going to have these, and the first thing we have to go and decide is this a viable project? Is this a project the community wants? If the answer is yes and yes, or if the answer is yes, it's viable, and the answer is no, it's not what the community wants, then it's our job as city councilors to go in and try to explain to the community why we should be doing this, why we should be going forward. Because sometimes we have to make votes that go against the city's, community's wishes, because with the information we have, it's going to look, we feel that it's going to be in the best interest of the community. But it's really important that we understand and make the determination, is it a viable project? If it isn't, then we have to look at something else, or we're just doing this to make ourselves look good.
All right,
Your Honor,
thank you.
I really feel like I need to weigh in, if you don't mind. This is a process question, and I feel it's incumbent on me to make sure that the city council understands that process. It is new for this city council. You have never done it before, as far as I know, at this point. It's not unusual in cities. The city of Concord does that process when they're considering their budget. They do it as a whole. The way the process is intended, and the question to me essentially was, is there a way that the entire city council could consider this question under your existing rules? And under the existing rules, you don't have this process. But the existing rules do talk about Robert's Rules of Order in the event that a process isn't considered in the rules. So I went to Robert's Rules of Order and looked. And yes, this process is contemplated under Robert's Rules. Now, and the intention basically is, as the mayor pointed out, that to the extent that you want to do this, and it's still your choice, right? To the extent that you want to do this, because it touched and appeared to touch all three committees, that seemed to be an appropriate way to at least put it in front of you. So that way, all of the city council and all three committees hear the same information at the same time. Now, in order to be able to get into that process in the first place, there's going to have to be a motion to go into this committee at the time that it's presented. So you'll have an opportunity to discuss that at that point. And then the city council can decide whether it wants to do it or not, right? And the other thing about that is, even if you go into the committee of the whole, that doesn't mean that you can't, as a group, as this committee, refer this matter back to any other committee that you want to refer it back to. Once you do that, that terminates the quasi-committee of the whole, and you drop back into that other process. So it doesn't foreclose that to the extent that you want to do it, right? You still have that choice. So the question at this point is, once you go through the meetings with the public, and you have this meeting at the next council, you will have the opportunity to decide whether you want to do that process or not at this point. And if you do not, you can fall back into your regular rules, and you can send it to wherever you want to at that point, just to be clear.
Thank you. I appreciate that. One step at a time, stay engaged with the workshops. I'm gonna hammer that over the head. All right, Councilor Madison.
Your Honor, I just want to thank the city attorney for explaining that. That explained it a lot better to me, and I think now we have an opportunity for everyone in council to hear the input that the public has for this project. Think about it, and then we can make a decision about whether it should go to the committee of the whole or MSFI after these hearings. But in the meantime, let's all make sure that the information we're sharing with our constituents is the correct information. Let's stay away from the vitriol. Let's stay away from the misinformation. Let's make sure that, you know, these great fact sheets that the city has made are getting out into the public, so people can read them, get the facts, and make an informed decision rather than one that's based off of spin and emotion.
Thanks. Okay, all good for now? All right, so that brings us to board and commission reports number 1.
A report from the Conservation Commission. They're weighing in on some details of the project, and that includes the need for trees to be included in the design.
We'll accept the report and file it into the record as informational. Counselor Williams.
Yeah, the Conservation Commission just wanted everybody to remember that this is an ecosystem down there, and we can take steps to make sure that the plants are healthy, that there's good pollinators. What we're asking is that the amount of space for each tree be expanded a bit, because we've had a lot of tree mortality in the past. And we also discussed, the need for, not up in the trees, but down low with the planters. Let's have some native pollinator plantings in that area.
All right, thank you. Which brings us to ordinances for first reading, number 1.
We have a memo from the city engineer along with an ordinance for first reading, and would be ordinance O 2023-01, an ordinance relating to removal of stop signs on Summit Road at Wyman Road.
And this will be referred to the Municipal Services, Facilities, and Infrastructure Committee. Resolutions, number 1.
And we have a memorandum from our Human Resources Director, along with several retirement resolutions, and they include Resolution R 2023-02, a resolution in appreciation of Michael C. Goodchild upon his retirement. Resolution R 2023-03, a resolution in appreciation of Tim J. Ballantyne upon his retirement. Resolution R 2023-04, a resolution for Jeffrey C. Chickering upon his retirement. And finally, Resolution R 2023-05, a resolution in appreciation of Todd B. Lawrence upon his retirement.
And we'll start with the first resolution. Council Powers for a motion, please. Council Bosley for a second.
Thank you, Your Honor. I move to adopt Resolution 2023-02.
Second.
We have a motion from Council Powers, seconded by Council Bosley. Council Powers.
Thank you, Your Honor. We're a hard-working group here, and this is a hard-working group of employees, and I was kind of wondering how we might present these. And, why isn't it in alphabetical order? Or why didn't we figure out how long they've been here? But a quick calculations, it's almost 100 years of employee time here, some real great employees. Mike Goodchild, very well-known police officer, spent a lot of time up and down Main Street and all over the city. I think he knew every inch of this city because he's a native and he's been here a long time. He served at the sheriff's office in the town of Marlboro and the city of Keene for 21 years. We wish him well.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, are you ready for a vote? All those in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous. With the second resolution, Council Powers for motion, Council Bosley with a second, please.
I thank Your Honor. I move to adopt Resolution 2023-03.
Second.
We have a motion from Council Powers, seconded by Council Bosley. Council Powers.
Thank you, Your Honor. Tim Ballantyne joined City of Keene 26 years ago. Came in when there were some promotions within that department as people moved up through. He's been through a lot of projects in that small office, 3 or 4 people at one time. He retires after 26 years, going through a lot of revals, a lot of automation, a lot of walking property lines and city streets, and he's done a fine job. And I gotta say that if you disagree with your tax rate or you disagree with your assessment, you go in there and have a discussion. When you're all said and done, you just can't disagree because it's really valid and reasonable discussion. Tim plans to come back and help out a little bit, and I think he runs a little bit of a garden in the backyard from time to time. So wish him well.
Thank you. Further discussion? Seeing none, are you ready for a vote? All those in favor? Opposed? That one is unanimous. Again, Council Powers for a motion, please. Council Bosley for a second.
Thank you, Your Honor. I move for the adoption of Resolution 2023-04.
Second.
We have a motion from Council Powers, seconded by Council Bosley. Council Powers.
Thank you, Your Honor. Better than 30 years on the city staff. Started as a part-timer, came to work as a full-time firefighter, worked his way up through the ranks, and has served in a number of capacities here, as well as during a period of time was the fire chief over in Chesterfield. Done a fine job, done a lot of work with a lot of people, has trained a lot of folks, not only here in the city of Keene, but in surrounding communities. And I'm pretty sure I wasn't able to see him as he left the other afternoon. He was pretty happy to turn those keys over to that car, because he's probably listening, but he's not coming out again for a long time. And he too has a lot of hobbies, camping and fishing being one of them. So I'm sure when spring comes, he's gonna be out on Spofford almost every day. Please wish him well.
You didn't mention his name.
I'm sorry?
I know who it is, but you didn't mention it.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought he did. Jeff Chickering, yeah, Deputy Fire Chief.
It's like one of those things where you expose all the details and then everybody has to guess.
Yes,
That's good.
I could test them all.
All right. Any further discussion? Seeing none, are you ready for a vote? All those in favor? Opposed? That one is unanimous, and we've got one more. Council Powers, please. Council Bosley for a second.
Thank you, Your Honor. I move for the adoption of Resolution 2023-05.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilor Powers, seconded by Councilor Bosley. Councilor Powers.
And this one is for Captain Todd Lawrence. Todd joined the police department on December 28th, 22 years ago, and he retired on December 28th this year. He too worked his way up through the ranks of the police department in various capacities. The last few years as a captain, very important position in that department. In any department, when you're kind of the number two person, but you're the go-to person because you've got all the history and the knowledge, and you've had a lot of experience at doing different projects. And he's handled just about every major project that the police department has had in the last few years. At the same time, he's served as a member of his own community, as a football coach, along with a couple other Keene police officers. We get a pretty good team down there in Swansea. I don't know why, maybe because of those two guys. But Todd's done a fine job for the city of Keene. I really don't want to see him go, but I understand, you know, when it's time, it's time. But he too is going to come back and help out with some other serious projects that need a little extra help. And we wish him well. I hope you do the same. Thank you.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, are you ready for a vote? All those in favor? Opposed? That one is unanimous. Which brings us to number 2.
We have a memorandum from the Assistant Public Works Director that introduces Resolution R 2023-06, and it is relating to the appropriation of funds for the Solid Waste Fund.
And this will be referred to the Finance Organization and Personnel Committee. So at this point, we're going to take an adjournment for legal advice. We're going to do it a little bit differently because we have the room all set up. We're going to, counselors are going to meet in the room back behind me here for the adjournment. And then we'll return here for, to close out the public part of the meeting. So we stand adjourned. good? We got everybody? Counselor Roberts? All right, I think we're gonna get going. All right, we're back in session. So at this point, I'll take item F2 off the table.
And this is a memorandum from the airport director relative to a change order with SUR Construction West for work associated with the airport fuel farm replacement project. The director is looking for action on this committee report, which would call for a suspension of the rules of order.
So I'll accept a motion from Counselor Powers and a second by Counselor Bosley regarding the rules.
Thank you, Your Honor. I move to suspend Section 26 of the Rules of Order to allow action upon a time-sensitive item.
Second.
We have a motion from Counselor Powers, seconded by Counselor Bosley. Any discussion on the suspension of the rules? Seeing none, this does require a roll call vote. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Counselor Lake.
Yes.
Counselor Remy.
Yes.
Counselor Johnson.
Yes.
Counselor Giacomo.
Yes.
Counselor Filio.
Yes.
Counselor Williams.
Yes.
Counselor Jones.
Yes.
Counselor Madison.
Yes.
Counselor Roberts.
I wasn't here when the motion was put forth.
It's a motion to suspend the rules.
Okay. Yes.
Counselor Omar.
Yes.
Counselor Chadbourne.
Yes.
Counselor Workman.
Yes.
Counselor Greenwald. Counselor Bosley.
Yes.
Counselor Powers.
Yes.
And that is unanimous. So I'll be looking to Counselor Powers for a motion on this with a second by Counselor Remy, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. I move that the city manager be authorized to execute change order number 3 with SUR Construction in the amount of $67,557 for work associated with the airport fuel farm replacement project number 05J0006 with $27,750 of the required total amount to be transferred from Public Works account number 752-21800 and 527-400 into the fuel farm replacement project.
Second.
We have a motion from Counselor Powers, seconded by Counselor Remy. Any discussion? Seeing none, is it a roll call? No. Seeing none, are you ready for a vote? All those in favor? Opposed? That's unanimous. Thank you. That brings to an end our regular business, and I appreciate your time and attention. We stand adjourned.